things like this happen a bunch in the Bible, and there's so many stories like it that sometimes you kind of read them and you're like, well, okay, there's this blind guy and Jesus healed him and he gets up and follows him, and so what? Well, everything. I mean, everything is what? This adds a dimension to our faith that maybe gets lost sometimes, an important part of it. But, this is the church that Jesus established. This is what it did. This is what he did. When he was walking around on earth, this is what he did. He went to people that were blind, that were lame, that were lepers, that were hurt, that were oppressed, that people didn't like, the rejects, the outcasts. He went to them. He found them. He healed them. He made them better. And then they followed him. And this seems like something that happened long ago, that it can't happen today, that these kind of miracles don't take place. It seems like something far off. But is that world really that different? I mean, I read the newspaper every day. It's not really true. I skim the newspaper. I read the sports section. I read that every day. I skim the rest of it. I skip living. That's recipes and celebrity news. Not all interested in that. But, you read the newspaper. There's all kinds of things going wrong in our world. There's all kinds of problems. Because the news is never good. If it was good, it wouldn't be in the newspaper. It's not news. There's all kinds of bad stuff going on. And when we read about it, it looks like, well, it's other places. It's in Fort Hood. It's in Afghanistan. It's in other places. But it's here. There's needs. There's people like this blind guy crying out for help all around us. Tuesday of this week, I got a call from a friend who said a friend of his had a friend who had been evicted from their apartment. Or from where they were renting. They were evicted. And when they were evicted, people come into your house when you're evicted. It's the most amazing thing. They get this crew. They get this bunch of people, and they take all your stuff and they just throw it on the front lawn. And that's it. And they do it while you're not home, so you come home and all your stuff's in the front lawn. And people were stealing it. I mean, people were just driving by and stealing their stuff. So he was calling to see if I could go help because this family was going to go get a truck and they were going to load it all up. And they needed help loading the truck. All right, fine. Where is it? He said, I don't know yet. I'll call you when I know where it is. Fine. So he calls me a little while later. And I'm expecting him to say, think of what you're expecting. Think of the kind of home that you're expecting these people to live in, where it would be, right? Just think. So he said, all right, I found out where it is. I said, all right, where is it? He said, it's in Coventry. I'm like, all right, cool, where's that? And he tells me, I'm like, Coventry. I know Coventry. I know where that is. Well, it's actually John and Becky's neighborhood. So if you've ever been to John and Becky's house, that's where it is. If you haven't, if you've been to my house, our neighborhoods are not all that different. Here's a little maybe a little closer. It's not all that different. It's not all that different from your neighborhood. It's a normal Alpharetta kind of subdivision. And people were just driving by and stealing their stuff. And I went over, and John and Becky went over, and we helped them load up the truck. But one of the things that was amazing about it to me as we're loading it up is they had 3 more TVs than I did. And they had this nice entertainment center, a pool table. And you don't get evicted all of a sudden, where okay, somebody sends you a letter and the next day you're evicted. I mean, this is something that it takes time. There's a legal process. They have to let you know a certain number of times. And so they knew. And there must have been cries for help somewhere. There must have been. But it gets lost. The needs get lost in the land of picket fences. Because we put up our nice things and we dress in our nice clothes and we make people think that everything is fine. And you know what I'm talking about, because we all do it. All of us have problems. All of us have things that we're crying out for help with. And it's hard. It's hard to see the needs, but the needs are there. And this guy cries out to Jesus. And that's what he wants. That's what he wants from all of us. And so whatever the needs are that you have, I want to encourage you to just do that. Call out to him. He called out over and over, and people heckled him to stop, and he still did it. He still cried out again, louder. Keep at it. And when you do it, when you cry out to Jesus, I want to encourage encourage you to expect a miracle. Because I don't know when we stopped doing that. I don't know when it came about that we thought that Jesus didn't do miracles anymore, or that they only happen in the Bible, that amazing things don't happen anymore, that God can't do them. I know a guy he's an addict, and he's in a 10-month spiritual reformation program where he is trying to recover from his addiction by being remade into a new person by giving his life to Jesus. I tell you what, that's a miracle. If you've ever known an addict, it's a miracle that they stopped. And it's a miracle that they've changed their lives. And there are other miracles, things that can't be explained. They're all over the place. Expect them. I mean, really, go ahead and expect them. I think we should expect them in our lives, and I think we should expect them in church. Church, I'm sorry, I just don't think it's all about boring meetings. I just don't think that's the point. When people have needs, they come to church. It's Christmas, so that means my phone is going to start ringing with people calling for help. It's the season. Don't ask me why, but this is the only time of year that people call for help. But they call for help with rent. They call for help with all kinds of stuff. People come to church in times of need. Remember the Sunday after September 11th? If you were in church? The place was packed. All of them. Everywhere. My guess is that churches in Killeen, Texas were packed. When people have needs, when bad things happen, they come to church, and they don't come looking for a meeting, they come for a miracle. They come expecting something to happen, expecting God to show up. And the early church, the first church, was full of people like this guy who had had miracles. It's like the formerly crippled club. That's who Jesus' first disciples were. And they were all people that had been done this or done that or had this happen to them or whatever. List of things that was wrong with them was huge. They were the ones that the church was made of. Go home and pick up your Bible and read the first 6 chapters of Acts. It's awesome. I mean, it's awesome. All the miracles that happen and all the people that follow and that are healed and that come to faith. It's amazing, And this environment, this community, the one that Jesus created in the beginning, is one where those kinds of things happen. Where there are differences, where something changes in our lives because of God. And faith is something that should involve change. Life transforming. And when it's at its best, that's what it is. And then what happens is what this guy does. Jesus said to him, and I didn't actually realize this until I just read it for you just now. But Jesus said to him, he says, "Go your way. Your faith has healed you." There's no strings attached with this healing. Jesus doesn't say, "All right, I'm going to heal you, but you need to give 10% of your income, and you need to join the worship and music committee, and you need to teach Sunday school, and you need to be an usher." He heals him, and he says, "It's up to you now. It's your choice." It's a free gift that he gives this guy. He just heals him. He just loves him. He just takes care of him. That's it. Then he says, "It's up to you.